Hello, welcome back. What we're going to do today is actually I was supposed to go over the enemy state machine with you guys today, but what I completely forgot to do. I completely forgot to do this, and we're actually going to be doing the knockback today. So we're going to continue our action RPG, but yeah, like I said, I forgot that we still have to do the knockback system. And because right now, if we play our game, I mean, we can run it, just let it build. But right now, when we play the game, we got most of the player side of things done, but we still have to work on the enemy. There are a couple of things that I forgot to mention in the previous video that I need to mention in this one. So let's have a look at the gameplay first. So we can move. When we shoot, nothing really happens to the enemy. They kind of just do their own thing. They keep moving towards us. We want them to get knocked back. So what we'll be doing today is we will be working on the state hurt state, and as well in the game controller and also in the player and enemy game objects. Those, from my notes, those are the only things that we're going to do, but we're also going to incorporate delta time, and that's what we're going to start with first. So let's open up the game controller. So at the very start of the game, we're going to implement delta time. So let's type that in, delta time. Now the whole point of delta time is so that basically if there's any lag in the game or in any application when it comes to timers, then global delta time will make sure that we control it. When we initialize it, we want to set it to 0. Simple as that. And also at the, we also need to put in a begin step. Get rid of that because we don't need it. Now in the begin step event, this is what happens before the, as you might imagine, before any of the other step events happen. So here we're going to update that global.delta time. We're going to, I'm pretty sure if you've seen my tutorial on this, this would be very familiar for you. But 60, so the target frames per second, by 1 million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we want to multiply that by the in-game variable delta time. Done. Alright, so we don't need to do anything else. We're finished with that part for now. The next thing that we're going to do is, actually before we move on, I just want to mention this. So here in our move collide script, when we collide with something here, I forgot to mention this, but this is just temporary. So let me put a note here. It is temporary. The reason why is because we just wanted, well, I just wanted to show you guys the whole point of going into the state hurt event, so we can show animations and things like that. So that was really all that it was for. Alright, that's all it was for the move collide state. What we need to do now is go into the object player, and we are going to add in a couple of new variables here. So the first one is our knockback force. So as you might be able to tell, it's how far we're going to get knocked back. We're going to default that to 0. And we're also going to store the hit by. So we need to know exactly who hit us. And we're going to default that to no one. Again, excuse me. Again, for the parent enemy, we need to do the same thing. So let me just square that here. And then here, we need to say the same thing. Knockback force equals 0, because we need to default that. And of course, we also need the hit by. Hit by, and again, we need to default that to no. Simple. We're just going to be working in the parent enemy for now. We won't be doing anything else. Alright, so we'll close that, and we will also close this. And then we're going to go into the parent projectile. Now, for this one, we need to go into here, the collision with an object collision. And we need a new local variable. So we'll type in var and we'll say origin. And what the origin variable is going to store is the creator. Pretty simple. So we're going to say here, creator, I don't know, what note should I write? Store the creator ID. Should just be creator. Okay. We don't need this line of code, so we can delete that now. And then we also can delete this. And we'll leave this line in here for now. In not the next video, because the next video I'm planning to actually implement the enemy state machine. But in the over the next few videos, I will need to do another project cleanup. It's good to have a project cleanup every now and again to make sure that the game doesn't break or has any bugs in it or any unwanted exploitations in the game, unless that's what you're going for. But here in the with other statement, we need to say that the knockback force equals. Now here's where you can get a bit creative. I'm just going to use the underscore power variable here. I'm not going to be doing anything else. And then we're also going to say hit by equals origin. Okay, so basically when this bullet, when this projectile, when the projectile hits another object, it's going to tell it to reduce health. It's also going to knock the object back, and then it's also going to tell it, it's also going to send information about who hit them and where, as in like the X and Y position relative to the other object. Alright, that should be all for now. Oh, I forgot. State equals state hurt. I forgot to do that. So basically, when we hit another object, it will send all this information to whatever we hit, if it's not the same as our creator object. Alright, so just have a look at that, make sure everything lines up. And if it does, let's move on to the next part. So if you guys can hear any voices in the background, that's just something I can't control. So here in the state hurt, what we're going to add here are, if you followed this tutorial series from the beginning, this will be very familiar to you. So let's have a look here. Let's go var. We need to store a direction. So let's go var direction. And we're going to use point direction. And we're going to do this a little bit different, but we're going to say hit by dot x, and then hit by dot y, which is whoever hit us, and x and y. Whoops. Yeah. That should be all. Can you hear that in the background? So if I had a more quiet space, then that's what I would do. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So let's just power through and let's hope that it calms down. So let's go to the next one. It's X-force. And so for X-force, the next thing that we need to do is, again, you've seen this before. We're going to use the length-dir functions. So the length here is the knockback force. And then the direction is, of course, the stored variable that we created. But we're not done yet. We still need the y direction as well. So y force equals length y, knockback force, and of course the direction. All done. Now, I'm just thinking, should we keep going or could we test this? Actually, let's just do this. Okay, so move collide. Great, I've forgotten what parameters are. Okay, so for the move collide, we need to move according to the x force and the y force, of course. X force, y force, and then we also need what we're colliding with, I think it was. Yes, so OBJ collision? No. Collision? No, not collision type. I forgot my resource names. Object collision. Okay, there we go. OBJ collision. And we also need to say, again, let's look here. Do we need to destroy it? No, we don't. So we just type in here, last thing, false. Done. Okay, now, I just want to show you guys, I just want to make a point here. So if we test this now, let's test it now to see if it works first, and to see if there are any bugs that we can fix. Okay, so everything works for now. Nothing, whoops. Unknown object.y not set before. Hit by, okay. That's weird. Let's try that again. Let's try attacking the enemy and seeing what happens. Did they get knocked back or something else happens? So let's try. Okay, here we go. Unknown variable.y. Okay. Alright, let's try flipping this around. So let's go x. And let's try using hit by over here. Hit by dot x and hit by dot y. So let's see if that works for us. Yeah, I hope it does. Okay, let's see what happens when we hit the enemy. Oh, nothing happens. Okay, that's weird. Oh, I know why. Hit by dot x. I know why the enemy doesn't do anything, or it doesn't react in any way, is because we actually have this set up. We have to build the foundations for the state machine. Sorry. So we need to go state equals, we'll just say enemy idle. This will do nothing for now. So let's go here. Let's create a new script. Enemy idle. Now, the reason why I'm creating a separate script for enemy idle is because we want it to behave differently compared to the player's state idle. So that's why we have two separate things here. Let's have that there. Okay, so if you're using the default color scheme for Game Maker Studio, then this should turn like yellowish orange. Okay, now that we have that, we need to go here into this step, and we need to run the whoops. We need to run script execute state. So we've kind of started work on the enemy state machine, I guess, but for now we're not really doing anything else. Okay, so if everything's right, it should be all good. I hope everything's correct. I hope everything's right, because we're gonna have some problems if it's not. Oh god, here we go. Object enemy state big dot state is not set before reading it. Lots of problems today. Okay. This is something. This ought to be interesting. This is unscripted. All of this is unscripted. But what we need to do here, it's an easy fix. What we need to do here is simply say event inherited. I've forgotten that we need to inherit the parent events. So, and again, for enemy big, the reason why we need to inherit the events as well, events inherited. Now, the reason why we need to do that is, of course, we need to make sure that we still run the parent event as well as everything else, because, well, we need the knockback force, we need to know who hit us, and of course we need to set the state. Okay, that should all be done. Okay, I hope everything's fixed. I don't want this video to go on for too long because the concept itself is fairly simple. It's just that, well, if you do mess up, you'll mess up a lot. So I'm just trying to get an enemy to spawn. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. Now, the enemy moved a lot, as you can tell, right? The reason why it just kept going and it didn't stop is because we haven't actually told it to stop. We just told it to start moving, and if it collides with anything, then by all means. Okay, so here's what we do. One way to do it is to say knockback force. So as long as we're in this in the hurt state, the knockback force will decrease 0.1. I'm going to set it to 0.1, and then we're going to multiply it by global dot delta time. Okay, so basically what it will do is that it will reduce the knockback force by 0.1 or whatever value you want, and then it will make sure that it will run only once per run, because if you think about it, if you're running the game at 60 frames per second, you're running the script 60 times per second, basically, right? So in order to avoid that, we want to make sure that we reduce it at an appropriate speed. So let's play the game again. And this is that last line. So when we knock the enemy back, they won't go flying, or they'll slow down eventually and stop. Okay, so that was a bit weird. So if you noticed, we hit him back, but then it kind of just started coming back at us at much faster speed. That's because here we need to add in another check. If knockback force is less than or equals to 0, then knockback force, because we need to set it back, we need to limit it, right? Because if we start going negative, then it will continue to multiply, the speed will continue to go up and up and up. So we need to limit it to 0. So let's play the game again. This time, all the fixes should be in place. If you guys heard any other voices in the background, then that's, I apologize. I apologize on behalf of where I live. So there we go. We can now, well, you guys saw that. We can hit the enemy back, but there's no real stun timer yet. We will cover stun time in a separate video, so state hurt now works completely. We've also gotten started on the enemy state machine, which is nice. The next video we will basically finish the enemy state machine so that we have something that works a little bit better. But for now, that's all. It's now April as well, so I figured that I should tell you that by around mid-April, we're going to change the channel name. So make sure you guys keep an eye out for that. If you have any questions, then you guys know what to do. Just leave them in the comments below. And also, for the start of May, hopefully I can get these videos done by the end of the month. But at the start of May, I want to be starting a new tutorial series. And this one will be aimed at level 0, so people with zero background, programming background. The reason why I want to do that is because I get a lot of questions from people who are asking beginner level questions. As in, when I say beginner, I mean people with zero programming experience. So if you guys have any ideas as to what kind of game or mini projects you guys want to work on, I'll do my best to figure something out that's aimed towards that. But for now, we're finished with the knockback system. We had a few unexpected turns, but hey, we fixed it. We managed to fix it in the end, which is good. So make sure that if you have any other questions or if you have any problems with this video, watch it back first and watch it closely. So that's all for me. Just want to keep this video as short as possible. So I will see you in the next one. We will cover the enemy state machine in more depth in the next video. Until then, guys, I'll see you all later. Bye bye.